steps are you willing to take towards your goals? Well, with me is someone who's made her way through life's challenges to become a resource not only to herself, but also to others. Hi, Tamara, and welcome to Faces of Scotia.
Hi, Delia. Thank you so much for having me.
So who is Tamara?
My name is Tamara Whyte. I'm Senior Manager, Human Resource Business Partner at Scotiabank, Jamaica. I would describe myself as somebody who is very resilient, very adaptable, and also very adventurous as well. I like to experience new things. I'm a mom of 2 boys, which is an absolutely thrilling experience most of the days. They're quite energetic. My boys are 6 years old and 4 years old.
What's one thing that people cannot see when they look at you, Tamara?
I think it's in the way you introduced the program just now, stages, transitions, change and resilience. I don't think that's necessarily very obvious in looking at me.
Looking at you?
Yeah.
All right, so we're about to share your story. If we had to come up with a theme for your life story, what would that theme be?
I think it would be resilience and change.
Resilience and change. Yeah. All right. Well, that always starts when we're young. So take us back a little bit to what it was like when you were growing up.
What a very interesting place to start. So I'm from a large family. I have 7 brothers. Wow. I'm the only girl. I'm the 3rd child for my mom. My grandmother was very instrumental in my formative years. She's really impacted me in a very, very big way. Mm-hmm. My mom was also a very, very strong support, excellent rock, and really would have helped to shape me in the person I am today. So I feel like having had many siblings, I would say, and based on my birth order, I think that put me in a place of responsibility and maturity, and I feel like all together they really helped to shape who I am today.
Yeah, so many boys, fun, lots of games, or as the girl you had to stay indoors?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, my mom was very protective. She didn't allow me to, veer too far out of what she considered to be a comfort zone for her.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did find time to interact a lot with cousins, female cousins, so that's where I got my girl, kind of vibe going on.
That's excellent. That's excellent. In your story, Tamara, we know that you've suffered loss. How has loss influenced your mindset, but also shaped your life going forward?
So I think it's progressive, right? So in the moment while I was experiencing it, I think it would have been quite a bit to work through, like a void to navigate around. But looking back now, I feel like it really has helped to shape my story of resilience, adaptability. Mm-hmm. A significant person who I would have lost in my life would have been my grandmother, who I shared earlier was very instrumental in shaping who I am. Like her view on people, her love for people, she was a very giving person. Like the entire community could just show up at my grandmother's house for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And she always had something to share, and she would really feel bad if she didn't have enough to share with everybody who came by. So having lost her and the great confidence and love that she had for me, I feel like that was really something to work through. There are other losses that I encountered, but not necessarily to death, like loss of friendships. Mm-hmm. At some point they would have created a jolting effect, mm-hmm. but eventually, over time, normalizing and coming to terms, just accepting the reality that not everyone who is a part of your story will be there in every chapter. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I find that interesting what you said, because in what I'm hearing from you is that loss and dealing with it is a progression.
I strongly agree. Strongly agree with that perspective.
Yeah, you haven't tried to get over it immediately. But as you have, mm-hmm. progressively, mm-hmm. it has also helped to strengthen you.
Absolutely, and I think that is where the resilience comes in,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, so tell me a little bit about how did your goals and aspirations survive some of the restrictions you faced growing up? I'm sure there were financial restrictions. Mm-hmm. It's a large family. Mm-hmm. How did you help to push through all of that?
So from early out, I had a view of where I wanted to be.
Okay.
Not necessarily in terms of a career in all sense of the word, but I knew that I wanted to grow, I wanted to achieve, I wanted to, actualize.
Yeah.
Maybe those weren't the words that I thought about at the time, but I knew in my gut that I wanted this for myself. And so I thought that every opportunity, every moment in my life mattered. So high school counted. Made sure I went through all the hoops, made sure I got my subjects. So it made it easier to transition to the next phase. So from very early, from high school, that would have been very formative. And then as I moved through, doing that assessment, what's next for me? College, obviously, because that's going to be a game changer in terms of helping me to earn and achieve the other things that are important to me. So I would have zoomed in on that. I knew I needed a job. And I landed one very early, a year out of school. I landed a job. And it was important to me to show up every day and be my best. And that worked favorably as well. And I structured myself in a way where my earnings were prioritized towards paying my tuition. So there were a lot of delayed gratification just to make sure that I could stay the course and achieve my set goals, because I saw education as a very important vehicle to get to the next step in my life.
Yeah, and what you're saying is important. You worked with what you had.
Take your hands-on fashion.
Correct, because a lot of people would say, financially, I don't think I'm ever going to make it. But you said, I am going to make it.
Yeah.
And this is how I am going to work the finances so that it will get me to where I want to go.
Absolutely. And I don't entertain thoughts like that. It's not to say that I won't feel down sometimes, or that, maybe something isn't quite working. I will admit that it's not working, but I need to figure out what I need to do to get past this hurdle. I don't believe in just rolling over and accepting defeat. It's just not a part of who I am.
Yeah. But it must have been difficult at times. Was there a point where you felt like, this is too much, I'm going to give up?
I thought about that, and I can't say that I would want to just quit, throw in the towel, give up. But I've had moments of challenge, of self-doubt, of wondering, of this isn't working, so on. But to the point, when I think about you saying give up, I'm thinking just call it quits, this is it.
Yeah.
No, I can't recall encountering that level of that thought at all, not to that extent, no. Yes,
Difficult.
I'm having a rough patch. Yes, I'd rather not, for sure. But then my default is usually to go to what can I do to get past this. I've always loved myself, so I couldn't think of hurting myself. So
Yeah. So it's always finding a plan B or C or D, but never ever giving up on the main goal or objective.
Absolutely not. Pivoting is important. Just don't quit.
Yeah. One of the things a lot of Jamaicans have to encounter is working to fund their own education. Many start, and then when they start, they say, I'm not going to bother with the education, I'm just going to keep working. But funding your own education is a reality for you.
Absolutely.
So can you share with us just some of the things that you would have experienced in terms of funding your own education, and how did you make it through that?
Okay, so for that, it's a real deal. An absolute real deal. I spoke earlier about delayed gratification. There are a lot of things that I would have wanted to do with my salary, but I couldn't do it because I know that my tuition is gonna come up for payment, right? So the institution would have had annual payment plans. You can pay per term, but I had actually worked out a plan with them to have a deduction coming from my salary to pay them monthly. So that kind of made it a lot easier to navigate. I think just really staying focused on the end goal. As I look back on my life daily, I feel like an acknowledgement of where I'm at this point in my life, and the fact that there is discomfort with that. I know that I need to move forward. Coming back is not an issue, so failure is not an option. The multiple do-overs, that's not going to happen, so I need to stay course. So that has really helped to shape my life and to keep me grounded towards that goal.
Excellent. You're a mom of boys.
Yes.
You grew up with a lot of boys. So
Destiny.
tell me, what's one thing about the past that has helped you to shape the future, or still continues to help you to shape the future?
I feel like resilience, I still come back to that word because, and just the importance of not giving up. So like sometimes my sons will say, Mommy, that's too hard. I don't want to do it. You know, it's funny. Sometimes we will go for exercise. We'll probably go up Mountain Spring and they'll complain that, boy, it's so far, it's so long and so on. And I'd be like, you know, I feel like I have a duty to help them to understand that things will get hard, but quitting shouldn't be an option. You should press on and endure, you know, because that's the only way you're going to achieve your goals, right?
Yeah. Do you think it makes it easier to be a mother of boys, having grown up around so many?
Perhaps, but I don't think there's anything that will really prepare you for motherhood.
Okay.
It's just the experience that you have while you're going through it. All the thoughts, everything that you went through. Yeah, it's like a springboard. It's a reference point, but each child is an individual and they come with their own complexity, and they both challenge me in different ways.
Yeah.
You know? So
What's it like? Because now women talk about the challenges of having it all. You're a career-focused woman. You're a mom. What are some of the challenges you've had to overcome in balancing both things and being successful at both of them?
it's funny you asked that question. Just a day ago, a friend of mine sent me a note to say, 20 years from now, nobody will remember that you worked late except your children.
Ooh.
And that really hit me hard. So therein lies the challenge, trying to strike that balance with being present with them in what they're going through. Because those are the things that they will remember, right? Like, Mommy wasn't there, Mommy didn't do this. So, you know, I'm trying to be as present as I can while ensuring that I stay on course with my career and my goals, because that's how I'm going to be able to continue to care for them and to secure the future that I want them to have.
Yeah. You're an HR executive. Have you always been an HR executive?
Nope, no, not at all. My career path has been one of meandering.
Really?
But the beauty is that I did study HR for undergrad at a point, and it's always been something that has sat with me. It's been the consistent thread in every role that I've had, in every job that I take on, just how I bring myself to that people element. I feel that that is the most important part of any experience that we can have. So I'm always in the moment, I'm listening to you, I'm getting to understand you at the individual level, and you as an individual matter to me. So I feel like at the core of who I am, maybe the short answer is yes.
Yeah, HR. I find HR is a very special department. It keeps the human resource pumping and going, and it requires special people to
Absolutely.
do HR. But what kind of mindset would you say you would have benefited from in terms of how you've pursued your career? You said it's been meandering, but I think what it's done is it's exposed you to so many different things.
Yeah.
It's made you much stronger at what you do now. So what kind of mindset do you think it's brought you to?
I think openness. Openness, a growth mindset, which I think includes just that openness to learn. I consider myself a lifelong learner. There's always something to be excited about. The more I learn is the more I realize that I still have yet so much to learn.
Yeah.
So those things I think would have really helped to keep me, you know, navigating through this phase.
Looking back at your journey, is there anything that you would say, I would change that? And why? Why would you change it?
I've heard this question so many times, Delio. I can't honestly say there's anything that I would change. Looking back at it, because to change something would mean that I wouldn't be who I am today. And I have no regrets.
Yeah.
I have no regrets. I embraced it all, the challenges. They pushed me out of my comfort zone. They helped me to stay grounded and focused. And I can't look back and want to toggle with that switch at all. I'm accepting it.
You're accepting it. What's your vision for your role now at Scotiabank?
I would describe myself as somebody who aspires to be transformational. I really want for all my Scotiabankers to experience HR in a very wholesome, holistic way.
Okay.
I feel like we do a really great job as an organization. We have a strong vision that persons can connect to. And I feel like I have a personal responsibility and I hold myself accountable to help my colleagues or team members to embrace and live that vision.
Yeah. Within that context, what's your most memorable moment? I would say maybe in the position you are now, but if not in the position you are now, since you've been at Scotiabank.
That's a hard question. That's like asking me which of my kids I prefer. Can't think of a single one, but one that's happened fairly recently would have been, branch visits, like, going around to the different branches in our network. And I find that completely fulfilling because it gives me an opportunity to connect with our people, for them to see and experience, or for me to understand how they're experiencing the work that we're doing in HR and to get their feedback. And that's been very informative for us as well. So I thoroughly enjoy those encounters.
Yeah, I feel a lot of energy from you, Tamara. and there are people who sometimes they want to achieve so much, but they just can't get going. What keeps you going?
A vision. I think it all starts with two things. I think you have to be in a state of discomfort. The desire to change has to be stronger than the obstacles to actually effecting that change. So I remember when I was transitioning from pregnancy to post baby, and I thought about getting back on a workout routine. That was quite a challenge, and I was like, oh my gosh, I understand why people don't bother, but my desire to move past the discomfort that I was experiencing was enough of a push factor. So that's what I would say. You have to connect to a vision that is bigger than your comfort zone.
Yeah.
You have to want to cut the parachute and jump,
Yeah. I find a support system is very important to take us anywhere that we want to go. For you, is there anyone that you would want to thank for this journey that you've been on?
Absolutely. I have to start with my mom. She has been absolutely a tower of strength. I can't think of anybody who is more, of a protector. I think I would just get her a cape for her next gift. I think she's really been awesome, a very, very strong support in my life. Absolutely, my husband and my two boys, they've really helped to shape who I am now. And my focus is a lot different now, because prior to my kids, my family was very career focused, but now it's a lot more balanced. And definitely my siblings, my brothers, and to top it off, absolutely God, because he really has made me who I am and has, put all the fire in my belly to move forward and to, keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my faith has been very foundational as well.
And that's important. I want you to do me a favor. I'm going to ask you to look at this screen, because we have something that we want to share with you.
What?
Tamara, my love, my darling, I am so proud of you. You have been selected for Faces of Scotia, and that certainly is a big deal. I remember when we just met, you were in administration at one of our leading universities here in Kingston, and since then you have moved from strength to strength. You are now HR business partner here at Scotia, and I've seen you develop tremendously over the years. Your keen sense of place is very important, and I appreciate that so much about you. I also appreciate that you have continued your determination to move from strength to strength every single day. Your determination for excellence and for good work continues to show in everything that you do. I remember when you asked us to go on that trip to Blue Mountains, knowing that you were a part of your team at Scotia and you wanted us to be a part of this effort with your team members. I didn't actually take you seriously. I thought that you were just making mention of an event, and I was chuckling when you mentioned it. But your determination pushed me to be at the mountaintop. And I was, even without any preparation whatsoever, I was able to walk with you all the way to the Blue Mountain Peak with your team members and back down, even though it took me a few weeks to recover. But I'm so thankful that you pushed me in that effort. So I want to thank you. And I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud of all that you have achieved here at Scotia in the 11 years that you have been here at this bank. Continue to do your best, and your best will continue to shine and inspire others.
Oh,
How do you feel seeing that?
completely surprised, and I have a million questions that I'm gonna ask later when I get home. But like my face hurts. Very encouraged. I remember that experience very well. It was very spontaneous, which I embrace being like that as well. So yeah, it's a good feeling to hear that kind of validation from somebody who means the world to me. So
Excellent.
it's a big deal. How did you all pull that off?
Can't tell you that one, Tamara. That's a secret. But I want to thank you so much for sharing with us your history, your journey, and your story. You know, behind the brand are people like you and I, people who have stories of loss, growth, ambition, and like Tamara, resilience. Thank you for watching Faces of Scotia.